So welcome back to our office, more live Linux work here. Last very few commits as per usual, release imminent. The biggest thing is whether I find the time and nerves to patch RISC-V Firefox, recurring drama, and if not depression with that stuff. Otherwise, very, very small fixes that you can watch here. Ourselves live working on this stuff. There's also, for what did we revert? Was there not some not RISC-V, rsync? Did we not revert that for? Or was it not Spark? Maybe I did not commit that, apparently. So that is, of course, most likely. Should we test that directly? The recurring theme, your updates, stuff is building, you update one version. Just the other day, yay, we have a new rsync version, and then wop, wop, wop. What even fails? Maybe I should actually check what fails so much too. I mean, yeah, that is an abandoned vintage architecture, that AVR32, right? But nonetheless, it mostly otherwise freaking builds S-tunnel? What? Error structures, no members? What the heck? Fun stuff. I would think that this, I mean, it could always be that it didn't build before. Let's check that. Was this the right version or revision? I think maybe 3.2.4. We will know in a second. Maybe I did that wrong, maybe I didn't. Yeah, probably. Yeah, RISC-V, that is another major thing with Firefox. The problem is that it's in Rust, and previous videos, mostly last year, I'm not the most thrilled of fixing this RISC-V stuff, so this is also built. So let's copy that revision, copy, and maybe also, I mean, there's always one more thing, right? We could do so many things even more amazing. If this is overlays, actually, I think maybe in the long term, not the next days, but just to keep it in mind, we could also improve the package versioning, that we actually keep more old version like configured and differently mask versions that are not working for some architectures, because like this we need to maintain that for Spark 32 and AVR 32, and theoretically if we increasingly get more of this abandoned vintage and retro architectures, that of course would be easier. So we just clean this up. I could keep all of this, but why keep all of this if we don't need this? We only need the version overlay. All the rest is inherited for now from the main package. That actually should work like that. Let's see. And so yeah, wine is just a tiny little update because it's scrolling by. So the biggest thing would be Firefox for RISC-V. There is even, what did I do here? All right, somehow I did this wrong. So this Rust code, not the very best fan, not the very biggest fan of Rust, and that is rather complex. Doesn't make it the easiest to work on. Where is even, so is that? Actually, I should probably have posted that to the more we have there category tag parsing? How did we scroll that up? I have the feeling I deleted the wrong one. Apparently I changed directory there wrong. Yep, the art of running a Linux distribution live on YouTube. Info. So Xante on Discord has some nice contributions there, cross-compiling stuff. Cool, so that also built, we can just commit that. That's AVR32. And yeah, thanks for asking. Thanks for tuning in. How are you doing? We are doing quite fine. Overlay our previous version 4.2. And why did I commit that already? So of course, with all this efforts that I have on YouTube, that allows us to stay nicely on the latest and greatest. So nearly everything else built. I only wonder, did Spark actually build? Because I remember some other stuff wasn't building. Yeah, if you see the latest and greatest stuff actually booting on real 32-bit Spark, leave in the comments below. I have the one video on the main channel from 2 years ago. It's actually even built. Good, for Spark 32. So the rsync. Today I always mix rsync with RISC-V. RISC-V. Let's increase the. I have this here with 6 because I parallel built 2 dozens of those. That's RISCV64 job. Firefox, we need to get to this error. So this Firefox thing, super annoying bug somehow, at least in Nix, some Unix bindings for Rust. It is hilarious that this stuff needs to fail. Well, let's see what's going on there. Do we have all the other... did we build all of RISC-V? Because we also had some grub regression. Did this... Actually, this build... Okay, but this is interesting then. Apparently did some... also we did this wrong. Shit. I hate when I... Let's restart that. Okay, so at least, or was it risk? Actually, we could test that in parallel grub 2 here. You can also ask in German. Well, if you ask in English, then more people can understand it. But otherwise, you can write it in German, and I answer in English. Sorry. Did you know I'm tired? Oh, running a YouTube channel and a Linux distribution and a company is somewhat tiring. Who would have guessed? So, grub 2. Also, by the way, this BTOP thing. By the way, it's a new version. This BTOP thing is really cool. I mean, hey, it's written in C++, right? At least I think it is. BTOP. But probably the last time actually. Oh wait, we need no prefix also if you want to check that manually. Yeah, this top I'm really impressed. Especially someone has written this first in Python and then in C++, is my understanding over the last years. You really have to wonder why good old Unix top stuff is not as amazing. I mean, why is the core utils top? You can't even freaking scroll here, right? I only today I I realized, wait a second, is that a scroll bar thing? You gotta be kidding me. This is one of the, leave in the comments below, this is truly one of the really cool, I mean, if we look at all this histogram, history data here, CPUs, even freaking processors, of all the stuff I criticize, this top is really cool, really cool thing. Okay, so maybe the GCC update recently fixed, or did we downdate? No, I think we didn't. Did we downdate some grub architecture? Actually, bin utils, I mean. No, we didn't. So interesting. Maybe GCC update fixed that, because I'm pretty sure that, or was it the Linux kernel? No, I think it was that one. Anyway, we're mostly waiting here for this Firefox NIX breakage. Did I? So yeah, AVR. We are. Is it AVR? No, that's actually 6664. Where is our too many? Did AVR 32 fully build? Maybe it. Alright, maybe I built this in the first. Alright, it will anyway not fully build because Linux kernel doesn't link due to maybe one relocation or something. SQLite. Oh wait, do we still build this somewhere? Too many builds. Okay, fine, whatever. So, yeah, Firefox, we're waiting for that. Maybe I should have announced the other builds here. Also, I need a Threadripper. You can share, like, and subscribe and basically donate for the next overkill upgrade. I checked this next. Maybe we should actually... we could check out this next thing. Actually had this Googled before. So, I'm a little bit also disappointed that the Rust, some Rust contributors named this Nix because Nix is already a very big, similar to T2 package management thing, Nix OS there, and Nix package manager, so that this is Nix. I don't know, maybe they should have named it Rix then, RIX or something, but anyway, Nix is somehow no respect to other people's big projects, in my opinion. Yeah, we could see when this fails. Actually, we can already multitask. Here's also a PCI utils. That was AVR 32, right? Decade-old compiler. What could possibly go wrong? Now we have enough other builds that is minor stuff we can tackle eventually. Let's already change in here, although that is still building. Firefox, did this already error out? No, it didn't. Let's find this is in third-party Nix. Okay, this is top-level third-party. I mean, maybe we could completely update that. Which version is that? Would this be in cargo? Okay, this is version 0.15. Thank you very much. This is already version 0.24. So chances are something is fixed there. By the way, did all other builds, by the way, fully finish? The questions, of course, I mean, just dropping it in there might also not work. Because other Rust crates might reference a specific older version of stuff. Toby writes he enjoys Linux Pico.com. By the way, do we have this? If we don't have this, I usually use Minicom or actually in modern times simply screen serial device baud rate. It's a pity that the Tmax people don't want to implement that. I miss that a little bit. This is like the probably only thing I miss in Tmax. Also, the Tmax people say like, yeah, you're too complex. Just use a freaking like Minicom or whatever. It's not our department. So this failed as expected. Of course it failed. And the question is, can we easily fix this? I mean, simply patching it is probably easier. So previously we have seen the last time I patched Rust stuff in Firefox, they had checksummed all the stuff. So this is also really ridiculous. 2022 or so, and these days, if you patch something, it will complain that the bloody source file was modified. In my opinion, a really bad habit and invention. It's like stuff that nobody, like no software developer ever asked for, to checksum the bloody sources so that you have it even harder to modify it, and like twice the work or stuff. Anyway, so let's see here. This will have arrowed out in Nix, and so it builds for x86 and maybe PowerPC. Also, yeah, by the way, they partially use Rust, and the C++ part often, like, at least with my modern compiler, like the latest of the greatest, and GCC instead of Clang. I think Firefox doesn't even support building with Clang. Building with Firefox, I think they want, prefer, and force Clang. I think it's due to our build environment that we even use as much GCC. But GCC often kind of higher performance and stuff, and usually it works here. But my point is that you compile this, and out of you constantly, should we for just out of bounds here, not that many actually, is it? How can it only be so few? I saw. Because this different print on here, 230. I mean, maybe these are false positives and stuff and so on, but anyway, it's certainly not ideal. Cheers. So Nix. Build failed. Yes, thank you very much. Here compiled, so some errors have detailed explanations. I think could not compile Nix due to 4 previous errors. Where are the freaking errors? Recurring theme that now in this day and age you even don't easily see the arrows, because here, because they have an error code in brackets. So yeah, at least size bit, and here's some const. This is also the problem, right? Nowadays, I mean, I already know a lot, but there's also limits, and I certainly, nobody can know everything, and I don't even like Rust the most, and I don't even want to really get more in Rust, because for me it's better in some ways, but I would rather do something else. Because in the grand total scheme of stuff, there are too many problems with Rust for me to majorly invest into it. And now I need to debug where this is coming from, right? Why does this use unresolved import self const? Also, maybe this is some file. I mean, yeah, maybe we should. How do we test build that the easiest? So this is the next thing, right? Every freaking package builds. Okay, I think build, hopefully. Every stupid package builds differently nowadays. Oh, we have that here already. Does J1 work? Because I don't wanna... Why does it continue though? That is super annoying. So Rust Nix. Oh, by the way, how many Rust? Just always some fact checking. How many Rust modules? 477. Freaking! Are you completely kidding me? Oh man, you can't make this stuff. In the meantime, I mean, is it even for freaking real? Do I do this wrong? Is this a typo? Oh my! I need something stronger than coffee. Wait a second. Yeah, that is very hilarious. I think a year or two ago we had 150 micro dependencies. Now we are at 477 micro dependencies, and in my opinion, this is really an issue. Not only for maintainability and code review. Sure, they are all micro dependencies, but in my opinion, that doesn't make it better. But this also needs to learn and study 400 and fix, right? And then one of those stupid stuff here, also German stuff, right? Zeitstempel, because Zeitwende and hip and stuff. Probably some very good hipster invented that Rust crate. So let's see. So this Unix stuff, this was in IOCTL, and the question is, how do they? So here is some target arch. Okay, some IOCTL stuff doesn't build. Maybe they have. Okay, here is some stuff. Maybe they have here Spark of all things, and even actually wait a second, they have multiple things. Actually, maybe it is. Here's const. So this doesn't exist. Okay, maybe it's as easy as target arch. So the problem is, so this stuff might be super easy. Maybe like unsuccessful woman YouTuber fixes stuff here live on YouTube. Target arch equals RISCV64. Maybe that was already freaking everything. Actually, wait a second. Here's some generic OCTL protocol. Const non u8 read write u. I mean, the question is, for what is it used? Does it even? Here's also size bits. Where do they have? So let's think for a moment. Certainly here, RISC-V. This, I mean, we should check that, obviously, but the chances should be relatively high that RISC-V is similar to other 64-bit insane RISC architectures. What is that here? Mod const. So that is other for. Okay. So that is for 32-bit stuff. Why is here x86? Okay. Fine. Whatever. Maybe it's as simple as freaking that. That would be, of course. Yeah, but that we need to do this. So I wonder if they have this upstream. I wish. I mean, the crazy thing is that I tried to earn at least some euros from AMD or Sci-Fi, and like nobody was even interested. This is so silly that I need to do this here for free on a weekend after 20 years investing my life in open source ecosystem, and then AMD and Sci-Fi is like, yeah, YOLO, whatever. Hey, look at that. They have that here. So if they would update this, this would already work. At least it's upstream, so the Firefox people only need to actually add that there. And then the set stuff is this might not even work. Let's patch that also for RISC-V32 just because we can. And the problem is that the last time I patched some RISC sources, it errored out of checksum not matching, so maybe we need to hunt the bloody checksum and patch it away as well. Also, that doesn't work. Patch is used for, yeah, here, bloody, yeah. This is a bloody freaking effing checksum. I mean, what is wrong with those people? And this is also when you think I'm overly negative here, right? 20 years I need to look and fix others people's sort of big famous people's stuff here. And why does this stuff need to be checksum? For what effing reasons? I mean, we are actually a European channel. I think I can actually say fucking. I don't even. I mean. For fuck's sake, I mean, what the bloody heck? And seriously. Expected actual, so where is the... Does it print where it says Rust? Okay. We probably even need to grab for the stupid checksum. Yeah, thank you very much. And this is also the last time I hear probably. And that is also stupid that they're all in one line, right? So the diff will be huge just because... Oh damn, no, I don't have the checksum anymore. The diff will be huge just because this is machine generated, and it's changing... Oh fuck. Which... Oh darn, don't tell me the whole file is gone now. No, it isn't. What? Or it didn't. Oh wait. Whatever I've done there. Ah, shit. Yeah, this checks some stuff. Maybe this stuff has some... Actually, maybe I should check if it has some ignore bloody checksum. Just saved it. Oh, yeah, I should to avoid that. Yeah, that is a little bit annoying, this autosaving thing. I think I patched that at least mostly. And so yeah, the patch is unfortunately massive. Yeah, 100, so 17 freaking K just because this is one bloody line of checksums. I mean, I can get the idea. I mean, I'm not really understanding. I can like get the idea that the Firefox people want to make sure that the sources are not tampered with, but they are imported probably in their Git already anyway, or I don't know. This makes developing. I mean, it's already. I would say it's difficult enough already. Like software engineering with all this dependency hell and complexities, like 400 micro dependencies, right? With all the web stuff, all the decades of legacy stuff. And then you even make editing the fucking source code freaking unnecessarily difficult. This is like secure boot for source code, as it's a secure source, or it's, if you wondered why. I started this YouTube channel because I'm also not enjoying this anymore. Like working in YouTube, I mean, I was joking already multiple times. I soon opened my beach coffee, which is sort of like serving coffee to happy holiday people, more enjoyable than dealing with this IT stuff. This is my dream of an off-grid Kevin and have my peace. So the problem is finding this stupid checksum that we know partially. Do I still have this in the copy? Of course I don't have. This is CTL. Here, wait a second, this is negative. I can copy this. This is a minus line. Yeah, leave in the comments below how impressed you are with this nonsense. I need something that's probably still there to... Nah, shit. Because it's half edited, this is why I need to... So VI here, source. There I deleted. Yeah, plus. Yeah. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. It's yeah. You guessed it. I'm back in a second. Let's see if that builds then. This would of course be a nice thing, but this is also a reality, right? Each time you get something to build, the next upstream update breaks it again. Actually, I just realized that Brexit nearly is Brexit again. Coincidence. Anyway, let's see what's going on there. What's going on? Toby likes Rust. Toby asks, was with Asai Linux well reviewed? As I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't really call it review. Oh, wait a second. What did we? Oh, there. I packaged it. I showed it here a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't really call it review. I'm happy that you like Rust more than C, you said? I mean, Rust is also a decade old already, and I think, I mean, after decades, certainly Firefox uses it in production, right? I mean, there are people doing huge stuff with Rust, so yeah. So many comments though. NVIDIA is the worst in Linux ecosystem. Yes, I totally agree. I say this for a decade, or I say this for forever. I mean, the crazy thing is most GPU companies all usually have been it. Only even Matrox and ATI. I think the ATI stuff was financed by the Weather Channel, right? When the Weather Channel, like 15 years ago or so, used Linux to render their TV stuff. So, and the Matrox stuff, I don't even know how, did they open source it? I mean, even Matrox, even when there was 3D code, I just don't remember if outside people have done it or if Matrox have done it, but there was also once a hardware abstraction layer for bloody mode setting. Like the 3D stuff was open source, but stupid mode setting was a binary hardware abstraction layer blob. Mostly they set, among other things, for macro vision. What was whatever the analog also copy protection nonsense was. Yeah, so the problem is when I read through all the comments, and also right now we wait for Firefox. Anyway, do I use 32 jobs? Also we built 2 Firefox right now, so even that is a bit much for not thread ripping, only Ryzen. So Asai are the companies really those assholes? They can't even publish parts of the drivers. I mean, just support for Linux. We still pay. Yeah, I mean, this is what I always saying, right? I understand that Hector Martin Marcan doesn't mind, and well, to be fair, he has quite some hobby Patreon income due to that. I would also say that, and I said this before, because I have the feeling that some Asahi people are overly praising or defending Apple, and I said from the beginning I always say stuff should have open specifications. I'm not even asking for driver source code, but Apple could also really publish that, I agree. At least like most of the stuff. At least that would be nice. I mean, Apple at least has some open source track record with the next inherited stuff. But I at least want the specifications that from all companies, also Nvidia, that including Apple. I would even go as far that even a car, and even the most fancy modern cars, should have accessible schematics that you can track down issues, especially in 10 years, right? I've just seen on another German YouTuber, the car doctors, auto doctor or something, just scrolled by there in my YouTube recommendation stuff, and I just watched a video of some hybrid, BMW hybrid, 10-year-old, 120,000 kilometers or so in 10 years, whatever, some 7, 8, whatever, not the most of the cars. But the point is that this hybrid system, probably intentionally, as far as they said, so the car didn't like work anymore with electric systems, and they said that this contactors, this MCU is shutting down the use of this contactors, those fancy relays of this high voltage system after thousands or 10,000 cycles or something, allegedly to preventing serious damages, like if this contactors wouldn't work anymore, like each time you they close, there is some tiny little flash of stuff, and so they could or get worn down, and so you have like, sure, like after 10 years, it's how much is it? Half the value. I mean, it's still like a fancy, or like a third of the value. It's still like a 30,000. I mean, when new 100,000, like a freaking Tesla, right? Like after 10 years, like maybe 30,000 plus minus value of stuff, and then you have this fancy electric systems that intentionally shut down just as a preventive measure. Maybe that should not even be allowed, or especially should be changeable. And then according to them, you can't even like this hybrid system thing costs, what did they say, 6,000 plus tax or so, plus installation, and then you can't even be sure that that is the issue. Like it could always be you buy this module for this very high OEM spare part prices, and you can't even really be sure that that is a part you needed. My point being that even for that, you should get schematic. Like Louis Rossmann says, like TVs had schematics or tape decks and stuff, especially fancy, like previous video, right? Revox, reel-to-reels. This is not too much to ask, and it's not our issue that cars are complex and the schematic is a lot. I would not even say it needs to be printed. That would obviously be a lot of printing of schematics in the owner's manual, but it should be accessible. I would even say, okay, sure, maybe if even in Germany you have to have some certification for working on high voltage systems, probably. But otherwise, I would say that it should be accessible by hobbyists. I mean, they tinker with it anyway, right? They try. Hobbyists like myself or my father or stuff. My father actually is an electrician. They will repair it anyway, and it's like saying, yeah, you need a certification and stuff. It's like, yeah, you can also change the brakes on your car or the battery certification or not. And even for like real repair shops, and also educated hobbyists, or like, is an electrician. I mean, there are so many people. It's like you can't say like all the hobbyists are dumb. Like there are so many computer scientist hobbyists. There are so many studied chemical physics people and stuff. You can't say like nobody is switched on enough, educated enough to repair a freaking electric car or a normal hybrid car, whatever. Plus all the other electricians. But anyway, my point being is I would even go as far as not only limiting that to certified repair shops, but every one, like, it should be open access is my point. Just for the reason that otherwise these companies always find like, no, you are not certified enough, you need this. And then it's also the governments requiring certifications. This is just an expensive hurdle, right? Then you need, people are forced to make bloody pointless pseudo certifications where you just like Microsoft certification bullshit, learn like all this stuff for bloody multiple choice tests just to download schematics for freaking car. That also can't be. This is a crazy future. And yeah, anyway, this is just schematics freaking, and documentation also for like, especially also for NVIDIA, when NVIDIA or Apple argue, but our professional systems, like, yeah, Linux was also just a hobby, right? And look at just a hobby, and Linux is not even amazing by today's standards, in my opinion. And so the next people who build the next best, even more amazing microkernel or artificial intelligence or whatever database integrated system, what so many more amazing stuff for the future, where you need to program your GPU, people should be like hobbyists, like Linus Torvalds when he started, should have zero barrier to actually get that. And look at even professional Linux, right? It's like the most used operating system with all the servers and Android and stuff. And then we don't even have a proper NVIDIA open, just working open source driver, just because NVIDIA shows us a finger for decades already. And this is why, in summary. But now we digressed a little bit while we were waiting. I anyway need to go. Girl called, okay, this build, which build was that? That is x86. Yeah, so maybe this fixes Firefox. It would be amazing, then we can finally take our T2 release. I have to go, I have to I have to cook some pasta, because girl called from the park and says, Junior is getting home, where's the pasta? So I need to rush. Hope you learned something. What else do we have there? Micro dependencies, don't want to develop any. Yeah, and this is only 400 micro dependencies, right? This is plus all the other millions lines of code, right? This micro dependencies are only the new top of the iceberg. All the old code, there are even million lines in 400 other freaking modules for all the HTML, DOM, JavaScript, graphic bulleting, UI toolkit, printing, sandbox, yada yada, and so on. It's crazy. Stuff needs to get. I'm aware that tech is complex, right? I'm doing tech professionally for 20 years, unprofessionally for 30 in total. Yes, tech is complex, but this stuff needs to. We are making it more complex every year, so it's getting exponentially more complex, and we somehow need to make it simpler again. I mean, and yes, that means cutting, removing, and deleting old vintage stuff, and also making stuff simply simpler. It's simply said, making stuff more simple, but stuff needs to be made more simple, as simple as possible. And this is not as simple as possible. This is getting as complex as possible. Basically, everyone who wants to add something there adds their stuff because something is nicer, right? And then they use it in one or two places or stuff, or even a handful of. Yeah, so really need to close this here. How long are we? Hey, 0.prim for some miracle reasons. At least since we restarted. What do we have there? Your car, your hardware will prevent you from accessing it. Something really don't understand it. Server finds it interesting. Yeah, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and maybe even Patreon, GitHub sponsor, or YouTube membership if you want to support us more. To be honest, you can also do the electric in your house, and no one would probably care. Still not be. But yeah, I'm actually not sure. I mean, I certainly do that. Although my father has a master degree in electrician, so we are actually allowed to do stuff. I always have the excuse, like my father could have theoretically looked over it. I'm actually not really sure. I mean, sure, you can, as so often, you can always do it yourself until something happens, right? I mean, certainly not like someone comes and investigate. I also have seen a lot of shitty electricity installation. I actually totally don't know how this is by law. Maybe I should Google that and how it is in Germany. If you are actually, maybe you aren't allowed to do stuff connected to the public grid. Maybe, probably, you probably, I would guess, you would need to have some official Ausbildung and stuff, maybe. But actually, I've not checked. I'm not sure how that is by legal stuff. But you can, of course, get away with, I mean, nobody's checking, right? Until something happens. And then, I mean, if someone gets hurt and stuff burns down and stuff, and then they find that it was totally unqualified garbage installations, then obviously you have a problem. If it was not according to German VDE or like norms and VDE VDE Vorschriften and stuff. Like building code and stuff. So yeah, I have to run, otherwise my girl will be mad. I'm probably already some minutes late. If they come from the park and don't have some noodles to eat, then they won't be happy. I'm happy that I could fix this. I didn't expect that to be that easy, but it's also crazy that we need to do this here live on YouTube, right? And like the latest version of Firefox does not build on RISC-V. I mean, it was building on RISC-V. Like they added their new dependencies that were not RISC-V already. I mean, and given that this is the newest open and next best thing, you would expect that, sure, it's not a primary release architecture yet, but maybe they would do stuff a little bit more forward thinking and future proof and stuff. But anyway, that's it for today. I will release this later, Texas today, and I hope you enjoy playing along at home and learn something.